to ask the Scottish Government what its response is to the recommendation made by the Commission on School Reform report, Behaviour in Schools, that teachers should be able to suspend or exclude pupils who exhibit persistent behaviour issues.
Cabinet Secretary Jenny Gilruth.
We all want our schools to be safe places for children and young people to learn and for our staff to work in. Both our national guidance on preventing and managing exclusions and our recent guidance on consequences are clear that exclusion is an option that is open to schools where that is appropriate. Exclusion should be the last resort, and when used, it should be as a proportionate response where there is no appropriate alternative. Exclusion alone is unlikely to lead to behavioural change, and therefore the space provided by exclusions should be used to develop a plan to provide appropriate support to address the child's behaviour.
Willie Rennie.
So I agree with much of that, because it must be clear that schools do have the right to exclude or suspend pupils, but councils also have a responsibility to provide support and education for those pupils when they are out of school. But the big question is the Minister confident that that is actually happening in local authorities and in schools?
Cabinet Secretary.
I thank the member for his question. He's absolutely correct to say, of course, that schools and teachers in particular have the right and the power to exclude or to suspend children and young people in terms of behaviour. And of course, we've been working very closely with COSLA in relation to our National Action Plan on Behaviour and Relationship. That plan is jointly owned between Scottish Government and local government, and that is imperative because, of course, local government, as the report sets out, hold the statutory responsibility for the delivery of education. I've been really clear in my engagement with local government on this, but not only that, Councillor Tony Buchanan and I have written to all directors of education earlier this year to ensure that Action Plan is making a difference at the chalk face, and the points that Mr Rennie quite rightly has raised this afternoon are being addressed by local government.
Willie Rennie.
But the Commission for School Reform have been heavily critical of that very guidance that the Minister has just set out. They state in the report that it's not reassured teachers, it's provoked widespread criticism and is fundamentally misguided. Now, the Cabinet Secretary often seeks the advice of the Commission for School Reform. So will she take their advice today and issue new national guidance which clearly asserts the right of every young person to an education which is not disrupted by others and recognises that dealing effectively and quickly with bad behaviour requires sanctions?
Cabinet Secretary.
The member for his question. I do often engage with the Commission on School Reform. I listen to them intently, and I'm more than happy to give a commitment today that I will continue to do that on this particular issue. But in relation to the guidance itself, I just would remind Mr Rennie that this guidance didn't come from me as Cabinet Secretary nor from officials. It came from the teaching profession. It was an ask from the teaching profession on the back of the Behaviour in Scotland Schools research. We responded to that ask with very clear national guidance, and involved in the commissioning of that research that's published, rather the guidance, has been the EIS, the NASUWT, School Leaders Scotland, educational psychologists and local authorities additionally. So I would ask Mr Rennie to reflect on the fact that this guidance has come from the profession. It has been written by the experts in our classrooms, but of course I'm more than happy to listen to the Commission on a range of different educational issues. They cite in their report a number of things. It's a relatively short report, I think 7 or 8 pages in length, but they talk, for example, about support for teachers not being as strong as it has been in the past. That's actually an international trend that we've seen across Europe and across the world post-pandemic, whereby the role of the teaching profession has diminished somewhat, and it's really important that we work with our teaching trade unions and with others, including the Commission, on how we can help to restore that relationship, particularly between school and home. And the report, of course, goes on to talk about some of the challenge in that regard. But I do give that commitment to Mr Rennie that I will engage with the Commission on the substantive points in their report.